رمضان 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 يا حبيب رمضان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new episode of your show, Ramadan, the month of change. We're still focusing on the change that we want to achieve during this Ramadan when it comes to our relationship with the Quran. How can we contemplate in the Quran? How can we live with the verses of the Quran? How can we connect our hearts to the verses of the Quran in a much better way, even though if you don't understand Arabic? And we talked about 9 principles, and the last principle that I talked about was about you focus on the phrase that the Quran used to express a meaning. And I said last time, talk about how Allah referred to sadaqah as a loan. Another phrase that is always amazing in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ahzab, in the Surah Al-Ahzab, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. الأمانة. إنا عرضنا الأمانة. Basically offer the amana, which is the trust. Literally, amana means something you trusted with. But the ulama said, when you look at what you trusted with is the deen, is the religion, is the sunnah, is the salah, is the wudu. Many examples were given by the companion, but in the end of the day, al-amana here means the religion. But you will ask yourself, why will Allah use this phrase? What that means to you? Now you start thinking, the religion or the deen or the message of Islam is something that you've been trusted with. Allah entrusted you with His religion. And when you see that, you start thinking, that means that Allah sees you as someone worth of being trusted. That's immediately make the Muslim feel so honored that Allah trusted me with His religion, to carry it, to apply it, to make it happen, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through that religion. That give you instantly and basically a very special feeling. Also, it means something, a trust. When I give you something, I said, this is trust. That means I'm going to ask you about. That's right, I'm going to take it back from you. So immediately when you read this phrase, you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also going to ask you about the religion. He trusts you with it, and He expects from you to fulfill that trust and to save this religion and to practice it. And He will ask you about it. This phrase make you know that if you betray the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not a trustworthy person. You fall from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's eyes. It's a very bad thing to be trusted with something and you cheat. So just the phrase amana give you very deep meaning. And you don't need to be expert. It just need from you a little bit to pause and start training yourself to think about these phrases in the Quran. The principle number 10 that I would like to talk about, maybe it required a little bit of extra information than just reading the translation, but also it's available in English for anyone who's seeking it, which is knowing the causes of the revelation and relating to those circumstances. So you will look what is asbab al-nuzul, the causes of revelation, and relating to those circumstances. In which circumstances the verse was revealed, or this group of verses, or this surah was revealed. It makes you read the Quran in completely different way, see it in completely different lens. For instance, if you know that ayat Surah Al-Mutaffifin, the verse Surah Al-Mutaffifin, is among the last few. Some ulama said even is in the last. The scholar said, some of them said it's the last verses revealed in Mecca right before the Prophet ﷺ left to Medina. Some ulama said it's the first group of verses revealed in Medina. Some said it was revealed in the way to Medina. Regardless, basically in this period when the Prophet ﷺ moving from Mecca to Medina, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويل للمطففين الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون ألا يظن أولئك أنهم مبعوثون ليوم عظيم يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين. Wail to those who give less than due, who when they take a major from people, take it in full. But if they give by major or by weight, to them they cause less. They cause loss. You're not basically giving them a due amount. Do they don't think that they will be resurrected for a great day, which is the day of resurrection? So here you ask yourself, these verses basically sent in the time where the Prophet migrating to Medina. You would think verses talk about migration, but here if you think deep and you start reflecting upon this, you will understand that any state, in order for it to be strong, it has to be based on strong economy. And strong economy means fairness, means being trustworthy, means no cheating. Now the Prophet ﷺ is not anymore a community, it's a society. And in order for you to build a society, this society needs a strong economy. That's the foundation for establishing any society. And that's why this foundation laid down from the beginning. You need to change the way you do your business in Medina, as some people used to do. You need to be honest. You need to establish a strong, clean economy. It is sad when you read in some research been done by Western universities, that Muslim countries don't rank in the top 20 even countries when it comes to implementing Islamic code of ethics when it comes to businesses. We don't rank, when I'm not a single Muslim country, rank in the top 10 or top 20 if I'm not mistaken. First one came like 23 or something like that. It is sad that when you go and you see how much cheating, how much corrupt economy that we have, when you deal with Muslim businessmen and women and you see a corruption there, it hurts, because in order for us to be a strong society, a strong community, we need to have a strong economy. Any community in order to be respected, for example, in the West, where we're in America, if you want our community to be respected and strong, we must have a good economy, we have influence. And that will happen only if you are an honest businessman or honest businesswoman. If we do a clean-cut deal. So it's completely giving a new perspective to the surah when you know the circumstances where which these verses were revealed. Anyway, we will have a quick break and we'll continue our discussion inshallah after the break. So stay tuned.
Ramadan, 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 ya Habib, Ramadan, 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 ya Habib, Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to continue our discussion about this important principle of that help you to contemplate on the verse of the Quran, which is knowing the causes of the revelation of the verses, or knowing the circumstances where these verses revealed in relation to. And I talked about an example of وَيْلُ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, and how it is basically related to starting a new society. It has to be based on a strong economy. I'll give you another example, which is Surah Abasa wa Tawalla. Surah Abasa wa Tawalla, it's among the first 10 surahs, the early 10 surahs revealed in the Quran. So it was right there in the beginning of the revelation of the Quran to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Can you imagine? Just think about it this way and see how you're going to live these verses in completely different way. You have different experience. Can you imagine the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam waiting for the Quran to come down, to aid him, to support him, have a message to deliver to the people of Quraysh. Everything he hears, he go immediately and deliver it to them. Then all of a sudden, when Jibreel alayhi salam comes, Jibreel tells him this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يدريك لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى أما من استغنى فأنت له تصدى وما عليك ألا يزكى وأما من جاءك يسعى وهو يخشى فأنت عنه تلهى كلا إنها تذكرة لا إله إلا الله. I came, just thinking about this moment when the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has to deliver this reprimanding to the people of Quraysh. He has to deliver that reprimanding from Allah to the people of Quraysh, telling them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticized him for what he had done. And guess what happened? A blind person say, Ya Muhammad, while the Prophet not engaged in business, engaging in giving da'wah to the people of Quraysh. So Nabi Sallam looked to the voice where the sound's coming from, thinking maybe someone will accept Islam. Then he found the person who's calling upon him is already a Muslim and someone from Khadija's family. So he has access to the Prophet ﷺ in any time that he wants. And he's already Muslim. So he kind of disappointed. He wished that there's someone else, like a person who wants to know about Islam. Someone is not related to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, maybe, or someone it's kind of hard to get. But if you find him, the blind person that he knows, his face changed. He didn't say a single word. So that blind person did not hear anything, nor he saw the Prophet ﷺ face when it changed. That's right. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw that. La ilaha illallah. What that means that you hear these verses among the first early verses in the Quran. When you read these verses, you know and you realize that this religion came to protect the rights of the weak, came to protect the right of those who their rights nobody cared for. You know that this religion talking about the best of manners. You know that this religion from the beginning saying that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is nothing but a messenger delivering the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It shows you that this is a proof that Muhammad ﷺ is a messenger from his Lord. Because if there is anything the Prophet ﷺ would have hid or wouldn't want it to be exposed, is his mistakes. It shows that admitting your mistakes is not weakness. It's actually strength. It's very interesting when you get to know the circumstances of the verse. When you get to know a little bit about, the background of the verses. Why it was revealed, in relation to what incident, and so forth. So the more you learn about Asbab al-Nuzul, you learn about the stories of these verses, the more you will enjoy reading the Quran, contemplating more in the verses of the Quran. Another principle, which is principle number 11, I suggest when you read the Quran, try to focus on a subject, a particular subject. So you will look for one subject inside the surah, or maybe in the whole entire Quran. Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah mentioned that Al-Hasan al-Basri said, I read the whole entire Quran and I found that Allah mentioned in the Quran in 90 times, that Allah said that He guaranteed that you will give you your provision completely. And He will provide for you. And He will bring you substance and He will be your provider. 90 times in the Quran Allah promised that He will give you. And He will promise you a provision. And I found only one time in the Quran Allah said that Ash-Shaytan promised poverty, promised holding back. Then Hasan al-Basri said, it's interesting that we have doubt about the 90 times where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He will give. We have doubt about that. But we believing the one time of the shaitan was a liar when he said that Allah will hold back or you will go poor if you give donation. While Allah the most truthful 90 times telling you He will give, He will basically provide, you kind of hesitant about that. My point from this example, that Al-Hasan al-Basri, when he read the Quran, he was focusing on one subject. Al-Imam Ahmad rahimahullah said, I read the Quran and I found that Allah mentioned 70 times. He talked about sabr and being patient. So the idea here is, when you look into the Quran and the verses of the Quran, you search for a subject. Maybe you make a khatmah. You read the whole Quran from cover to cover and looking for the verses that talk about one particular subject. For example, you want to read in Ramadan, in the first 10 days, this one juz or Surah Al-Baqarah, I'm going to focus on Du'a al-Anbiya, the Du'a of the Prophets. I'm going to focus on the verses speaking about the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm going to focus on the verse talk about shukr, about sabr, and so on. So this will make you read the Quran in a different way, looking at the verses in a different lens. And it will help you to contemplate more in the Quran. There is more to be said, but this will mark the end of our episode today. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us good understanding of the religion. Looking forward to continue our discussion, inshallah ta'ala soon. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.